Dr. Rudman summarized the subject's improvements as equivalent in magnitude to the changes incurred during 10 to 20 years of aging. Sadly, though, HGH costs $10,000 to $30,000 a year for the injections. The costs are just too high for ordinary budgets, right? Wrong. There is an effective yet low-cost solution, a specific solution based on one encouraging medical fact. Your faithful pituitary gland is still making plenty of HGH and will likely continue to do so for the rest of your life. In 1997, new ground was plowed when a myth-shattering report was presented to the American College for the Advancement in Medicine by Drs. James Jamison and L.E. Dorman. They announced their findings that the pituitary continues to produce plenty of HGH well into a person's 70s and 80s. That means we wouldn't need expensive injections if only we could find a way to coax all that perfectly good HGH out of its hiding place in the middle of our brains. In other words, you've likely got plenty of HGH stacked up in your pituitary gland. It's just not being excreted into your bloodstream. In fact, by age 65, only 15 to 20% of it gets out, compared to what got out when you were 25. That Jamison-Dorman report was a loud sound of opportunity knocking on the minds of lots of medical pioneers. And did they ever answer the door? In a short time, dozens of formulations hit the market, each promising to make the pituitary cough up its hidden store of HGH on a daily basis. Only one problem: they don't all work. In fact, a lot of them don't work, to put it kindly. But you'll know which ones do if you keep watching. The best we found at HSI is a formula sold out of Oregon in the form of effervescent tablets. It was tested on 36 subjects, and it may even exceed the benefits of HGH injection treatments without any side effects. Some doctors who are prescribing the Oregon formula claim it's 3 to 4 times more effective than human growth hormone itself. And the remarkable thing is that it doesn't contain one molecule of HGH. It's simply a clever blend of proteins, botanical extracts, amino acids, and other pituitary-kicking ingredients. In the tests, all the subjects had more energy, endurance, and muscle with less fat after just 4 weeks. After just 8 weeks, they reported new hair growth, a restoration of former hair color, and improved skin texture, among other things. And people who've used this formula report reduced LDL cholesterol, sharper vision, improved memory, and better sex. And if you're as skeptical as I am about taking things that could mess up your body long term, you'll be happy to know that whereas HGH shots eventually make your pituitary lazy and reduce its output, the Oregon formula actually works to increase your own natural production of HGH. The Oregon formula does cost more than a typical supplement, but it's far cheaper than the $1,000 to $2,500 typical monthly cost of HGH injections. And though we have no financial ties to the distributor, we arranged for a limited time for our members to purchase the formula at a discount. To find out how to take advantage of this exclusive members-only offer, click the button below for full details on how to join the Health Sciences Institute. And when you start your risk-free membership today, you will get full details about the cancer-killing AGS, the clot-busting edible miracle, and the Oregon HGH formula in your free encyclopedia of today's greatest alternative medicines. Your bonus encyclopedia is packed with concise reports on exactly how you can roll back your calendar to better days and learn to really live in the past. You'll also discover the dedicated group who's making this formula available to thousands. You could be one of them. But before you click away, lie number 4 is waiting for you right now. We are about to turn the tables on perhaps the biggest disease plague of our time. Lie number 4, you have to start on insulin right away. You know the story. I'm sorry, but your hypoglycemia has blown into full diabetes and there's no cure for that. You're going to have to start on daily injections of insulin or you're looking at kidney failure, blindness, stroke, or amputations. The diabetes epidemic has snuck up on us and become the 6th leading cause of U.S. deaths. And it's only getting worse. Are you between 40 and 74? Then there's a 30% chance you're already diabetic or pre-diabetic. An estimated 57 million Americans have prediabetes, meaning blood sugar high enough to dramatically increase their risk of getting the real thing in 5 to 10 years. And according to Dr. Francine Kaufman, past president of the American Diabetes Association, most of these people have no idea they're at risk. But there is a way out. Yes, a strict diet of veggies would keep you free from diabetes, but you don't have to go to that extreme. Unknown to the public and most doctors, there are proven plant nutrients that you can take in pill form that maintain blood sugar at levels close to the ideal, even if you sometimes fall off the sugar wagon. After considerable research, wading through countless scientific papers, home remedy reports, and testimonials, HSI's group of dedicated health pioneers has found a bouquet of 4 herbal and plant extracts that does the impossible. It not only keeps your blood sugar in check, as drugs do, it actually helps your body rebuild the organs that control your blood sugar. The 4 extracts are fenugreek, Gymnema sylvestre, konjac manin, and the nopal cactus. In the right proportions, they work together like a dream. As one physician reported, this mix produced results that doctors have not seen before, even with hardcore drugs. For instance, one 56-year-old patient in Indiana had scored a 9.0 on the standard A1C diabetes test, meaning she was severely diabetic. After just 6 weeks on this proprietary blend of herbals and cactus, she scored 5.7, under 6 is considered healthy, and she got off of insulin for the first time in 10 years. Individually, each of these 4 ingredients shows good results. Notably, one of them may actually regenerate cells in the pancreas. The literature abounds with reductions in blood sugar by averages like 30%, 54%, 52%, 53%, 84%, etc. But acting together, they do even better. 6 weeks of testing on humans showed that in almost every case, blood sugar dropped without side effects. One test subject was able to get off insulin in just 2 months after 9 years on diabetes drugs. This cactus cocktail yields similar dramatic declines in blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides, and other key indicators. Unlike a pharmaceutical drug, it's very body-friendly stuff. Find out about it in your gift for joining HSI, today's greatest alternative medicines. You can get it right away. Learn how by clicking below. But first, lie number 5 is coming up now. Lie number 5. Only a calcium channel blocker can control your high blood pressure. You know the song. You're 135/95, which puts you in dangerous territory, but we can bring that right down with a calcium channel blocker. High blood pressure, flaky memory, saggy skin, hard arteries, brittle bones. What is going on here? If you have 4 or 5 of these problems, it may not be your heart at all. You probably have a calcium deficiency. But how is that possible? After all, you eat the right food and you take extra calcium. That's all fine, but your precious calcium isn't tooling around in your bloodstream like it's supposed to. Instead, it takes the first off-ramp it finds and buries itself into your artery walls and muscle cells. Millions and millions of calcium ions jam into those cells as if they were in a phone booth stuffing contest. So after 40 years of leaking calcium, your calcium-locked cells are putting increased pressure on surrounding tissues, especially your arteries. This squeeze on your arteries begins to hike your blood pressure. Your capillaries stiffen and lose their ability to pass enough blood. Little bags appear below your eyes, wrinkles sprout up here and there, varicose veins pop up. Your blood-brain barrier, which is supposed to guard your brain from pathogens, becomes the Great Wall of China. The squished capillaries in your head won't pass enough blood to enable you to remember why you just walked into the living room. Your bones lose out in the intra-body competition for calcium and begin to honeycomb, even if you guzzle enough milk to drain a herd of Holsteins. Dozens of spin-off problems begin to subtly slow you down. You may even get ambushed by diabetes or breast cancer, but the main symptom is high blood pressure. If you have even a little bit of hypertension, the government wants to put you on drugs for the rest of your life. Until a couple of years ago, blood pressure of 130/90 was no great cause for alarm. It's just a notch above the ideal of 120/80. Now it sets off bells like a 3-alarm fire. Visit a conventional MD today, and he will want you to start taking a calcium channel blocker drug, even if you're showing just 130/90. Of course, he won't mention anything about when you'll stop taking it. People don't usually stop taking hypertension drugs because the doctor pronounces them cured. They stop because they're sick and tired of all the side effects. About 33% of Americans now are categorized as having high blood pressure. More and more victims are trapped on the treadmill to oblivion. What's the real problem here? Too much salt on the steak? Too much stress? Well, if that were the case, we could wipe out hypertension nationwide in 6 months just by getting everyone to cut back on the salt and to start their morning with a Mantovani record instead of the New York Times. No, the root problem for salt-sensitive souls is something quite different. When your body produces too much of two natural hormones, they play tag-team havoc in your system. Parathyroid hormone, PH, is good for you, but an excess of it is becoming quite common for environmental reasons. And when it occurs, it triggers an excess of parathyroid hyperintensive factor, PHF, which is bad stuff. The extra PHF drives your calcium out of your bloodstream and into the mischief zones. That's where the doctors come in with their calcium channel blocking drugs to artificially keep the calcium out of mischief. But alas, the drugs often cause as much mischief as they prevent. Here's the good news. An all-natural solution has now been found. The discoverer of PHF, the former head of the Department of Physiology at the University of Alberta, put together a simple compound that worked in a startling 88% of cases. When combined with a change of lifestyle regimen, test subjects had an average drop in blood pressure from 171/108 to 126/83. By any measure, that is dramatic improvement. Through equal amounts of lab experiment work and blind luck, Dr. Peter Pang's Vancouver research team stumbled onto a mix of just 2 ingredients, an ancient Tibetan mushroom extract and a new fish byproduct